All right, y'all, it is 12:15, so we are going to get moving. Only thing you need to know or have is if you want block for friends in the room, they're set up here in the corner. If you're at home or joining us, feel free to use a pillow or a book or something like that. I'm feeling cold right now in this space, so I'm wearing my jacket as usual the past few weeks in this room, but I will probably take that off as we move into our class. Announcements, I don't think I have anything for y'all, so let's go ahead and get started. We are going to just get into a comfortable position, either on our mats or on our backs or seated, and we'll start with some beginning meditation and breathing. Friends joining online, you can feel free to listen to whatever you want to. Just getting comfortable wherever you are. Again, there's not anything you need to see me for. Maybe starting to close your eyes. Feeling free to continue to move around if you'd like to find that comfortable position that feels best for you today. Shifting your focus to your breath and your body. Just checking in with how you're feeling today, both physically and mentally. As you start to explore how you're feeling as we come onto our mats today for our practice, maybe just exploring where you're noticing the breath. Breathing in and out of the nose if that feels good for you today. And then starting to think about our deep belly breathing. So inhaling from the diaphragm, inflating your belly like a balloon, moving the breath up into the chest, and then exhale from the chest back down to the belly. Oftentimes, as we move about our busy daily lives, we don't utilize our diaphragmatic or deep belly breath. But by slowing down our breathing and breathing from our diaphragm, we can begin to bring that sense of calm and peace into our minds. Maybe setting our intention for our practice or our goals for today and what we're wanting to get out of our practice. And knowing that that can be anything that feels good for you, physically, mentally, emotionally. Letting go of any expectations, letting go of any competition, and suspending all judgment of ourselves and others. Simply focusing on how we're feeling today, remembering that we have the power to choose whatever feels best for our bodies as we start to explore the poses. Remembering that we can always bring our focus back to our breath to keep us grounded. And also remembering that we can bring our focus back to our contact points on the mat if we're ever feeling anxious. Again, remembering that we are in control and have the power to choose what feels best for our bodies. When you're ready, we'll simply come onto our backs if we're not already there, bringing our hands down by our sides. Starting to explore some movement with our breath. Inhaling, let's reach the arms up and overhead. Exhaling, bringing the hands back down by the sides. Arms can sweep out to the sides or they can come straight up and overhead. It's whatever feels best for our shoulders. As we start to move through our poses today, or move with our breath,
simply exploring how our body feels in that pose. Maybe noticing what our body's doing as we breathe, our rib cage expands, lifting off the mat, and then presses back down as we exhale. Let's take 2 more rounds of breath here. On our last round, exhaling our knees into our chest. And we can just rock side to side if that feels good for us today. Taking a little massage of our low back, maybe. When you're ready, we'll bring our feet to the floor in front of us. Feet under our knees, aligned on our mats, hands by the sides, moving into some back body warm up. So as we inhale, moving into our bridge, peeling the tailbone up and off the mat, lifting it, the hips to the sky, feeling a little stretch in our hip flexors as well. And then exhaling, lowering back down. And just continuing that motion, pressing into your feet, maybe moving slowly through this and exploring how the spine feels. If you want to add on to this, inhaling, maybe lifting your arms up and overhead, coming higher up onto the shoulders, and then exhaling, bringing the hands back down by the sides. Just an option. Starting to build some heat in our glutes, our low back, our hamstrings. Let's take 2 more rounds of breath in our bridge. Meeting with our backs on the mat, we'll walk our hands a little bit wider, our feet a little wider, and then just taking some nice little windshield wipers with the legs, dropping the knees side to side, maybe moving with your breath. Taking 2 more rounds here with our breath, and then bringing our knees back to center and into the chest. We'll bring our arms out into that T position, and then our knees come to tabletop. So knees right over the hips. As immediately when we bring our knees into this position, our shins parallel to the floor, we feel the core muscles engage. Inhaling here, and as we exhale, drop the knees to the right. Can you hover them over the floor? Inhale, coming back to center, and exhaling to the left. Keeping the shoulders on the mat, so using our core muscles, specifically our obliques here, to lift us back to center. And we'll take 1 more round on each side. Just starting to build some heat in the body and also getting some nice rotation in our spine. Bringing our knees back to center, into the chest. We can roll to our side, use our arm to press ourselves up, or we can curl our head up off the mat, shoulders up, and roll ourselves to the top of our mats, bringing our hands to the front, knees under our hips in our quadruped or all fours, hands and knees position, spreading our fingers like starfish on the mat. Moving into our cat and cow. As we inhale, we drop the belly to the mat, lift our heart to the sky. Exhale, chin to chest, round through the spine. And just moving through this at your own pace, exploring how this flexion and extension feel in your body today. Maybe as you start to explore these small movements in our body, you maybe notice some little places that are talking to you, and just being mindful of those places as we move into some of our other poses today in our practice. Let's take 2 more rounds of breath here in our cat and cow. And then we'll come back to our all fours, hands and knees. As we're ready, pressing our left hand and right knee into the mat, we inhale our right arm out in front of us, extending our left leg behind us, checking to make sure our hips are square. So you can always check that left hip into our bird dog position. Exhaling, releasing to the mat. And we switch. Inhale, left arm, right leg, pressing the opposite hand and knee into the mat. And exhale, switch. If we want to here, we can inhale, arm and leg, shoulder hip height, maybe exhale to the side, a little bit of lateral movement. Inhale, center, and exhale, release. Just taking this at your own time, your own pace, moving with your breath. Building some heat in our core here, specifically our muscular slings that attach our shoulders to our hips. We'll take one more round on each side. And then coming back to your all fours, walking your knees to the long edges of the mat. The hips sit towards the heels, finding our child's pose. Whichever version of child's pose feels good for you. Maybe you want to rest your head on the block if you're feeling any sort of congestion today. Or if you want, you can extend your arms, maybe the arms on the block. The hands can also rest on top of the head as the forehead meets the mat. Taking a few deep breaths here in your child's pose, maybe assessing how the hips are feeling today, how the heart is feeling today in this inversion. Although it is an inversion, it's a rest pose, so we can come into this pose at any time in our practice or any other rest pose that feels good for us when we need it. From our child's pose, let's extend our arms out to extended child's pose when we're ready. And we'll simply walk our hands to the right side of our mat. Maybe the right arm comes off the mat. Left arm reaches over to the right corner of the mat. Feeling a nice stretch in our lats and our shoulders. Walking the hands back to center and over to the other side. Reaching our right hand a little further this time. Relaxing the muscles in the face, the jaw. As we inhale, we come back to center, shift the body forward, moving into our plank position. On our knees, on our toes, whatever feels best. As we exhale, we find a little push up, noticing our elbows come in and back towards the body. Inhale, press back up. And then exhale, child's pose. Shifting forward back to your plank, inhale. This time, exhale, it's called chaturanga. We lower all the way down, elbows glaze by the rib cage. Tops of the feet meet the mat. If we want to, inhaling, we lift the chest, the gaze, moving into a little baby back extension, testing our strength by lifting our hands, pressing our feet into the mat, reaching our feet behind us. Exhale, hands to the mat, child's pose. Moving through this together with our breath, if we'd like, in our half series. Inhale to our plank, exhale any of those options. Inhale up to our baby cobra if we'd like, and then exhale, child's pose. Maybe taking 2 more rounds of this if we'd like. Starting to build some heat in our core. As we move into our cobra, really thinking about pulling the shoulders back. That's going to protect our shoulder joint as well. So when we come down into our chaturanga, think about rolling the shoulders into your back pockets as you inhale, lift up. Meeting in our child's pose, we can either stay here or if we'd like to explore downward facing dog, lifting our hips up to the sky, maybe walking our dog, bending knees right and left. Nice little calf stretch, hamstring stretch. From our child's pose or down dog, we take our gaze to the top of the mat and walk our feet there, meeting in a forward fold at the top of the mat. Hands can meet the block, the floor, the shins. Maybe shaking the head yes and no, releasing any tension in the head, the jaw, the face, the neck. Think softening into our forward fold here. Hands come back down to our shins, thighs, the block or the floor. We inhale, lift up to find our flat back, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, soften and fold. Inhale one more time, lengthen the spine, roll the shoulders back. Exhale, soften and fold. This time, inhale, reverse swan dive, knees soften. We lift to the sky to extended mountain if we'd like. Exhale, sit back into chair pose. So weights in the heels, knees in line with toes. Inhale one more time, extended mountain. Exhale, chair pose. Arms can also extend out if we'd like. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back, lengthen. Exhale, soften and fold. Stepping back to find your plank position, knees or toes. Exhaling, chaturanga if we'd like. Inhale, we can roll the shoulders back, lift our chest first, and then press into our hands, into our extended cobra or up dog. Exhale, child's pose or down dog. Lunging to the top of the mat or stepping to the top of the mat. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Exhale, chair. One more time with me. Inhale, we lift to extended mountain. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Stepping back to find plank, knees or toes. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, come down to the mat. If that feels good, shoulders back, lift to your baby cobra, then push into the hands for full cobra or up dog, knees lift. Exhale, tuck the toes, down dog or child's pose. Stepping, lunging, walking to the top of the mat. Exhale. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Exhale, chair. Moving through that 2 more times with your breath, taking whichever options you'd like. There are a lot of different ways, or a few specific different ways to do sun salutations. So you're welcome to add on whatever feels best for you. Knowing the goal here is to build that heat in the body, which I am feeling, so hopefully y'all are too. And also get our breath. So we inhale, exhale, 1 breath to 1 movement, getting our breath moving to all of our major muscles that we're going to be utilizing in our practice today. Once we round out our 2 rounds of sun salutations, we'll meet on our mats in either down dog or child's pose. No rush, just whenever it feels best for you, whenever you round out your last round, whenever you finish out your last round. From our child's pose or down dog, all we're going to do is take our gaze to the top of the mat. We can inhale, lift our right leg to the sky. Either the left knee can be down or lifted. As we exhale, we pull it forward and through to meet in a lunge position. Excellent. From here, finding our balance, coming up to find our high lunge. Using that block for support at any time. Both knees are soft here. As we step the left foot in, we meet in our warrior 1 stance. So hips are square, arms can float up to the sky, roll the shoulders back. Excellent. Taking a big inhale here. As we exhale, we hinge from our hips, sending our arms back behind us, humble warrior. Finding this nice little stretch. We also have the option in our humble warrior today. We can reach our hands back behind us, linking our fingers, maybe rolling the shoulders back. We can also grab onto our opposite forearms, rolling the shoulders back. A little bit of chest expansion. Finding our breath here, finding a nice stretch in the calf. Releasing the fingertips, inhale, arms sweep back to the front. Taking an even bigger dive down towards our mat. Hands come to the mat or the block, and we lift our left leg to the sky for standing splits. Now, in our standing splits, we have the option to stay here if we'd like, or if we want to explore our half moon, balancing half moon. Right hand comes to the block. The first step is to take the left hip, lift it to the sky. Find that external rotation in the left hip. So toes on the left foot face the left side. We open so the shoulders stack left over right, and take the gaze to the left. Left arm can lift up to the sky. We can always come back to our standing splits. From either our standing splits or our balancing half moon, though, we are going to move from here. So just taking either one of these, finding it when you're ready. If you fall out of it, you've got time to come back in, no worries. Taking one more big inhale. Left foot is going to reach back behind us and meet the floor as we find our warrior two. So the left hip is already externally rotated, knees happy, arms can reach out in front of us. Right knee is pressing out towards the right baby toe, squeezing the glutes. Right arm flips to the sky, reach back, reverse warrior. Opening through the right side of the body. From our reverse warrior, we open to the long side of the mat, rotating our feet, our hips, finding our balancing star pose. As we exhale, we sink down into moonflower, releasing through the hips, just finding a few rounds of breath here. Inhale to lift, exhale to lower. Meeting back in our five-pointed star. Hands meet our hips as we take a hinge, softening the knees. The hands can come to the floor or our block if we'd like. And if you want to, you can bend the knees, right and left. If you want to sink all the way down into Skandasana, you can lift the toes off the mat, side to side. Just make sure your knees are happy. Coming back to the center when we're ready, walking our hands to our right foot, meeting back in that low lunge where we started. Right foot steps to meet the left, down dog or child's pose, an option to move through your half series here. So that's what makes our flow in our class, our vinyasa, if we'd like. Coming back to down dog or child's pose, we'll move through our sequence on the other side. Inhale, left leg high for our three-legged dog. Exhale, pull the foot forward and through, finding our balance here. Hands frame our foot or they can find our block. We slowly come up, finding our balance for our high lunge. Arms can reach up to the sky. When we find our balance here, we step this foot in, right foot in, warrior one. Remembering that whatever distance the feet, it's personal. Feet can be wider, narrower. Inhale, roll the shoulders back, reach to the sky. Exhale, hinging from the hips, humble warrior, lengthen. Option to link the hands, link the arms, roll the shoulders back. As you bend your left knee a little bit more, maybe you find a deeper stretch around the calf of the back right leg. Maybe you find length in the back right leg. Rolling the shoulders back. One more inhale, release the hands, arms float forward. Exhale, hands come to the block, the floor, finding our standing splits. So a lot of balance work today, I know. Ankle stability. Staying here if we'd like, or if we want to, finding that half moon, Ardha Chandrasana. So balancing in our left foot, external rotation in our right hip. That means we lift the right hip above the left. Finding our balance. Eye gaze looks to the right. Right arm might lift. Right shoulder is stacked over the left shoulder. Breathing here. Finding our strength in our breath, either from our standing split or our half moon. One more big inhale. Exhale, we take a long step back, warrior two, bending the left knee. Beautiful. Left palm flips to the sky, legs stay where they are, reach back, reverse warrior. On our next inhale, we open to find our 5-pointed star. Heels in, toes out as we exhale, moonflower, bending through the knees, sinking the hips down to the mat. Two more rounds of breath. Meeting back in our 5-pointed star as we release our hands to our hips, soften the knees, finding that nice wide straddle split, and then option to move into your knee bends, inner thigh release. Coming back to the center, when you're ready, we walk the hands to the left foot, meeting back where we started in our low lunge, stepping the left foot back to the right. Option to move through your half series. Coming back to child's pose or down dog, either option. Taking a few breaths here, recentering, checking in with our bodies. When we're ready, we'll all come up either into a plank position on our knees or on our toes. I'm going to turn towards y'all. So knees or toes, hands under shoulders, finding our breath here, remembering that our hips are in front of our knees, so core is engaged. As we exhale, we slowly come all the way down onto the mat. Excellent. We're going to do a little back extension work here before we move into some of our final stretches. From here, I want you to take your tops of the feet to the floor, arms in front of you like this. So you're stacking the arms, forehead onto the arms. We're going to break down some moves here in our locust pose. Starting with our feet first. So head stays down. As we inhale, squeezing our glutes and reaching our feet back behind us. Can you stretch your toes back behind you? It's a very small movement. In fact, if you're looking at me, you don't see much. So think about my cues. As you reach your feet behind you, do your kneecaps lift off the mat as you engage your quadriceps? Feet are reaching. Now, as you squeeze the glutes, can you float the feet just a couple inches off the mat? Feet lift as we squeeze the glutes here. And then exhale, releasing. Trying that one more time. Engaging through the quadriceps, reaching the feet back behind you. Inhale, engage the glutes, squeeze, and lift the feet like you're floating them up off the mat. Maybe thinking about pressing your hip bones into the mat. Maybe the quadriceps even lift a little bit off the mat. And exhale, release. Now, feet stay on the mat. We lift our gaze, our head, hands come back behind us. Eye gaze is down to the floor. From here, we turn our thumbs out. So we roll the shoulders back, squeezing through the shoulder blades. As you inhale, slowly lifting up into your back extension. Can you keep your feet on the floor? So total back strength here. Maybe still reaching the feet back behind you. Maybe the kneecaps lift. Eye gaze might lift a little bit more. And then exhale, release. We'll try that again with just the upper body here. First thing, can we keep our gaze down? Arms lift. So the arms float off the floor. As you roll the shoulders back, think pulling the shoulder blades in. Now reaching the feet back behind you. Inhale, float the chest up. As you squeeze through the glutes, reaching the feet back behind you, feet stay on the mat. Maybe the gaze lifts a little bit more. And then exhale, release. Excellent, y'all ready to put it all together? Here we go. From here, We lift the feet and the chest at the same time. Let's start with the upper body like we just did. Arms lift, shoulder blades squeeze in, thumbs lift to the sky. As we inhale, we float the chest up, squeeze the glutes. Now can we lift the feet, squeeze the quadriceps, pressing our hip bones into the mat. Big inhale. Exhale, release. Excellent job. Hands come under our shoulders. We press into our palms, knees on the mat. Press up and back into child's pose. Nice counter stretch for all of that extension in our back. Finding our breath here. When we're ready, slowly walking our hands up towards our body, flipping ourselves around. Extending our legs on the mat in front of us in our seated position. All right, so legs are out in front, sits bones on the mat. From here, can we take our right foot to the right corner of the mat? So it's just a small little bend or a small little lateral position. The left foot comes in to meet it. Yep, and if we want to adjust, make sure it's just not pushing on the knee. Sit bones on the mat, inhale, we reach up to the sky. As we turn towards our right foot, flex the feet, exhale, forward fold. Now, it doesn't matter if we touch our feet, no. As you curl the toes in, even without touching them, you'll deepen this hamstring stretch. Also a great release in the low back. At any time you want to, you can also bend your knee more if it feels like that is more accessible for you. Maybe with each exhale, you sink closer towards your right leg. From here, still pressing our right heel into our mat. Our right hand reaches and presses down into the ground. As we take our gaze up to the left portion of the sky, left arm floats up and over. We can reach it as far as we'd like, just making sure we're not folding over, we're opening through the right or the left side of the body. Big lateral flexion here. Taking one more big inhale. As we exhale, slowly coming up, reverse, left hand to the mat, right arm up and over. We press and reach. If we want to, pressing into our left hand under our shoulder, we can slowly lift our hips up into wild thing as well. Nice little hip opener and counter stretch. Slowly coming back down. And we release the right hand and switch sides. Left leg comes out to the corner of the mat, making sure our sit bones are on. Inhale, arms reach up to the sky as we turn towards our left leg, pushing the heel into the mat. Exhale, find your forward fold. Curling the toes in, maybe softening the knee if it feels good. Relaxing the muscles in the face and the jaw. Maybe feeling this a little in our hip as well, the opposite hip. From here, wherever we are, we reach our left hand out in front of us, slowly turning our body, taking our gaze to the right arm starts to sweep up and over. As much as we'd like here, keeping our sit bones down. So the minute you feel the right sit bones start to lift off the mat, that's when you want to come back a little bit. Pressing that opposite hand into the ground also helps. Pressing away. One more inhale. As we exhale, we slowly come back. Right hand meets the mat, left arm sweeps up and over for a counter stretch. Option here to press the weight into the right hand, lift the hips, opening into your wild thing. Slowly coming back down to the mat to connect. Releasing the hands. Excellent. Bending our right knee, left leg extends in front of us as we use this as a break. to slowly lower ourselves down onto our mats, rounding through our spines. Right knee comes into the chest. We can roll out the ankle here. When we're ready with this right leg in, our left hand comes across to grab the shin. Right arm comes out to the side. As we shift our hips maybe a little right, we take the right leg across the body, remembering that we can let the knee fall onto the block as well, if that feels good for us. We also have another option here in the single leg twist. We can extend the leg. So the right leg on top can lengthen if we'd like. Maybe you grab onto your thigh. Just an option. When you're ready, we'll slowly unwind. So bending our right knee, bringing it back in. Hips come back to the mat. And we can release our right leg, maybe adjusting, bringing the hips back to the mat. The left knee comes in. So taking some nice ankle rolls, maybe releasing the hip to the left and right. And then from here, we'll take that twist. I like to shift my hips a little left. Left arm out to the side, right hand to the shin as we bring the left leg across the body for our twist. Option to lengthen our leg. Maybe taking note of each side if one's more accessible from the other, and that's perfectly normal. When you're ready, we'll slowly bring our left leg back to center. And from here, let's bring the right knee in to meet it. We'll take one last little rock side to side, knees into the chest. Taking any last and final poses that might feel good for you today. When you're ready, we will meet for our final relaxation. You have a lot of options. You can keep your feet on the floor, knees bent. You can extend your legs. You can keep your feet together, knees in or knees out. Just finding that nice, comfortable position that brings you the most peace and comfort. Just bringing your focus back to your breath. Starting to wiggle your fingers and toes, just bringing that awareness back into your body and your space. Whenever you're ready, we'll bring our knees into our chest one last time, rolling over onto our favorite side, using our arm as a pillow. Just resetting our blood pressure. Using our arm to press us back to come to a seated position. When we're ready, we'll take one last collective breath together as we inhale, reaching our arms up to the sky. Exhaling, bringing our hands, gathering our breath into our heart center. The light in me honors, sees, and observes the light in each and every one of you. Thank you all for being here today. Let me know if you have any questions. My name's Anna, and there are wipes up here for friends in person, friends online. Y'all have a great rest of your day.